Okay, I want to call this regular city council meeting of September 17th, 2024 to order. Tonight's invocation is going to be done by Yvonne Valenzuela.
Father, I pray your presence and peace be present here. Endow these councilmen and women with wisdom, knowledge, good judgment, and common sense. According to 1 Timothy chapter 2, we are to ask you, Lord, to help them, and I do. So therefore, we can live peaceful, quiet, blessed lives, marked by godliness and dignity in Surprise, Arizona. In the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Yvonne. Could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Hall.
Here.
Vice Mayor Haney.
Here.
Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Duffy.
Here.
Councilmember Rimley.
Here.
Councilmember Hastings.
Here.
Councilmember Judd.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, tonight, Willow Canyon High School is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Here we go. Go ahead.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This is Constitution Week, and today in 1787, I think it was, the Constitution was signed. So I got a proclamation here from the Office of the Mayor. Whereas September 17th, 2024, marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Skip Hall, Mayor of the City of Surprise, do hereby proclaim September 17th through September 23rd, 24 as Constitution Week, and urge all citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. This is dated September 2024. It's signed by me, and the Vice Mayor is going to meet the Surprise City Council, Youth Council down here. All righty. Great, guys. Okay. City Manager report.
Yes, thanks, Mayor and Council. My colleague Shelby Fenwick has some important announcements that she'd like to make to the council.
Okay.
Thanks, Shelby.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like to take the time to acknowledge our pledge group that is here with us tonight. We have the privilege of having Willow Canyon's Student Council group with us tonight, and we have a speaker that would like to address you all. I have Miss Amelia Escobar, who would like to say a few words. She is the student body president.
Great. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Amelia Escobar, and I'm the student body president at Willow Canyon High School. I'm here to share some insight about our amazing school. We started off the new year with an amazing freshman assembly. Our student council continues to strive our goal of an inclusive environment for all grade levels. It is so important to include our freshman class because they are the future of our school, and we want them to get involved and get excited to be here at Willow Canyon. As our school continues to grow and society continues to change, it's important to get our students involved. As a STUCO, we know how fun that can be because many of our members are our student athletes and scholars. We ensure that all of our clubs and sports are supported and encourage other students to do the same. Thanks to the support of our incredible principal, Mr. Ludeman, our advisor, Ms. Most, and the Dysart administration, Willow will continue to improve our school and engage our students and teachers for an enjoyable learning environment. Our student council has also been fortunate enough to travel to other states and learn about how other councils run and bring back new and innovative ideas to continue the winning culture that we promote at Willow Canyon and give back to the amazing community that supports so many events that we plan. Surprise is a very supportive community, and it would be an honor to one day be able to visit City Hall and learn more about how the City of Surprise runs and be able to apply that real-life government into Willow Canyon. Thank you so much for having our council here today and taking the time to learn a little bit more about our school and what we are all about.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, awesome, you guys. That's it? Okay, city clerk report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we have before you 5 individuals who were recommended by the nomination committee to fill the remaining vacancies on our existing boards and commissions. Tonight, we'll go through each item, vote, and then I'll ask the appointees to come up front for their oath of office and a photo opportunity. And once that's complete, we'll move to the back of the room where they'll sign their official oath of office. And I'd like to give opportunity if the nomination committee would like to say a few words.
Did you want to say a few words?
Want me to say a few words now or wait till the end?
You can do it now if you want.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. First of all, I want to thank everybody who took the time to come out. We had just gone through 50 people in 3 days. And I want to thank Vice Mayor Haney and Councilmember Remley for joining with me in evaluating these last few openings. Sometimes we think this is done when we've done the nice big one, and then someone quits, dies, retires, moves out of town, or gets a job at the city, leaving a spot open. So we like to keep our commissions full, and we want to thank the residents for spending their time and supporting being a part of the input that helps City Council make good decisions. And we really appreciate your time and the time of all of those of you who came for a second interview or for a first interview for a different commission. So thank you very much for your time and your effort. And thank you to my co-hosts that helped us do that. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Ready to start? Okay, item number 1, consideration and action to appoint Catherine Dunphy to the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee, term expiration June 30th, 2027.
I move to appoint Catherine Dunphy to the Arts and Cultural Advisory Commission, term expiration June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, number 2.
Consideration and action to appoint Steve Walgren to the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission, term expiration June 30th, 2029.
Want me to go first? I move to appoint Steve Walgren to the Arts and Cultural Advisory Commission, term expiration June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, item number 3.
Consideration and action to appoint Heavenly Clegg to the Audit Committee, term expiration June 30th, 2025.
I move to appoint Heavenly Clegg to the Audit Committee, term expiration June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, item number 4.
Consideration and action to appoint Desiree Van Loon to the Library Advisory Commission, term expiration June 30th, 2027.
I move to appoint Desiree Van Loon to the Library Advisory Commission, term expiration June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
Councilmember Emily.
Ken, you
Still taking it over.
changed your vote.
Working. Oh, there we go. That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay.
Item 5, consideration and action to appoint Danielle Sturbinski to the Personnel Appeals Board, term expiration June 30th, 2029.
I move to appoint Danielle Sturbinski to the Personnel Appeals Board, term expiration June 30th, 2029.
Second.
Then moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote. If I could please have the appointees up at the front. I'll meet you up there for your oath of office.
Great. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Steve Evans,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
and the laws of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies
and defend them against all enemies
whatsoever,
whatsoever,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of,
of the position of
state the commission you were appointed to.
Arts and Culture Commission.
I hereby attest
I hereby attest
to abide by all official ordinances,
to abide by all official ordinances,
policies, and procedures
policies, and procedures
of the city of Surprise,
of the city of Surprise,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You are officially sworn in.
All
Congratulations.
right. Congratulations.
My deputy is in the back of the room and he'll get your signature. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations.
What is our supervisor's name? The egg company,
Tom Galvin? Tom Galvin?
the guy that owns the egg company.
Oh, Clint Hickman. Clint Hickman. Okay, we have 10 items on the consent agenda, as I see it. Is there anybody that would like to pull an item off the consent agenda for clarification or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
Councilwoman Klein, yours didn't come through. There you go.
Sorry.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, item number 16.
Item 16, consideration and action regarding a zoning text amendment to the Surprise Land Development Ordinance to allow smoking lounges to operate outdoor patio areas as part of their business operations. Ordinance number 2024-29.
All right. Welcome, Trevor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This item before you is a zoning text amendment known as Fox Cigar Bar. So a little bit of background before I go into the proposed changes. Back in December of 2020, Mayor and City Council adopted the LDO, which replaced the old SUDCR zoning code. In October of 2022, Mayor and Council approved an ordinance including smoking lounges as an allowed use within the LDO. At the time, that was strictly to indoor operations of smoking lounges. We are now bringing forward an applicant-driven proposed text amendment to allow for outdoor patios associated with those currently allowed smoking lounges. So to go through the changes, the text that you'll see in blue are additions, anything in red strike through or proposed deletions. So here you can see there's some clarifying language that incorporates the definition of what a smoking lounge is into subsection A here. Subsections B and C are not proposing to be changed. So non-alcoholic beverages can currently be served on the premises with a smoking lounge, but if the applicant wants to serve alcohol, they have to go through a conditional use permit. That's staying as is, and then no persons under the age of 21 on the premises is allowed, and that's staying as is. So subsection E is the section that currently restricts it to indoor operations. The proposed change would allow for an outdoor patio or seating area in conformance with this subsection for smoking lounges, as well as the other subsection specific to outdoor patios that's currently within the LDO. Subsections F and G that speak to the ventilation requirements associated with these smoking lounges are remaining as currently adopted. And then subsection H is being proposed to be added, and this speaks to the requirement of a smoke mitigation plan that would need to be submitted at the time of site plan review and approved by staff in association with their proposed outdoor patio for the smoking lounge. This references current state statute requirements under the Smoke-Free Arizona Act, and then it goes into some specifics as far as what's included in that smoke mitigation plan. So it speaks to smoke not being able to migrate into other areas where smoking is prohibited. It requires ventilation system and filtration in order to achieve that and not negatively impact surrounding properties. It requires within the smoke mitigation plan training and procedures for staff in order to enforce and operate that plan, and then requires responsible party for if there's any complaints. I and J are remaining as currently within the LDO, and then subsection K is being added to provide the city some extra enforcement capabilities. And then the other section that's currently within the code related to outdoor dining and seating, just some clarifying language. Currently, it's reserved for businesses that provide food or beverage. This would strike that language so that it could be allowed with a smoking lounge. So in summary, the proposed changes include requiring that smoke mitigation plan, adds some enforcement language for city to carry out any needed enforcement, and then clarifies those outdoor patio regulations. The applicant held a neighborhood outreach meeting on July 17th at the Holiday Express. There was no attendees and no feedback was received. And then at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, there was some discussion, and I'll recap that here a little bit. So some of the questions that came up were regarding the details of a smoke mitigation plan, what that would be reviewed to, what is required to be in there as far as details on, what the applicant is required to do infrastructure-wise or operational to ensure that smoke is not kind of going onto other properties. The discussion kind of went into a potential requirement for conditional use permit for an outdoor patio. We talked about the smoke filtration and mitigation guidelines that are required of this type of use, and then how to process complaints. The commission also asked staff to bring back some additional details when we have a chance to work with the state on the standards and review criteria for those smoke mitigation plans. So the Smoke-Free Arizona Act is under the Arizona state statute. It prohibits smoking in most enclosed public places and places of employment and became effective in May of 2007. There are some exemptions you'll see listed there that include outdoor patios. Again, so long as the smoke does not enter areas where smoking is prohibited. There's a 20-foot rule within the act that smoking is not allowed within 20 feet of an entrance, open window, or ventilation system. And then if a patio is within 20 feet of an entrance, it could be allowed so long as the smoke does not enter into those areas. Some of the methods that can be used to ensure that smoke doesn't migrate are air curtains, physical barriers within the outdoor patios, fans to keep the fans and blowers to keep the smoke in. And then for violations, as far as other than the city process, violations can be reported on the Arizona Department of Health Services website, and then the county health is in charge of investigating those complaints with the businesses. And then just to recap, some common uses that currently allow smoking on outdoor patios that we see, restaurants, bars, and hotels, as long as they meet the requirements of the Smoke-Free Arizona Act, they're already allowed to have outdoor smoking. So the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. And the applicant is here, and I'm available for questions.
Okay. Well, before the council asks questions, this is a public meeting. Would anybody like to speak on this item?
I do have one registered speaker, Mayor.
Okay.
Susan Draper.
Hey, Christy.
Yes.
We have another speaker that wants to speak. Are we
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor
Good
Council.
evening.
Susan Draper. I live in Sycamore Estates with Cereval and Cactus. When I saw this, the first thing I did was Google secondhand smoke. And the first thing that came up was the CDC website that says no amount of secondhand smoke is good. There are a lot of problems with secondhand smoke for children, people with respiratory problems. In fact, I don't know if you've got that, but I did send that information with my application to speak. The other thing I would like to point out that the 2040 general plan talks a lot about a healthy lifestyle, promoting a healthy lifestyle in Surprise. This does nothing to promote a healthy lifestyle. So I don't think this follows the general plan at all. The other thing I was surprised during this process is that the Smoke-Free Arizona law allows smoking in bars and restaurant patios. That really was a shock to me. If you allow this change, and I hope you don't, I hope you will establish requirements for the ventilation. And I know that they talked about, having ventilation that sucks up the smoke and filters it and whatnot. But we all know that the wind that we have here in Arizona can overwhelm that. So there should be at least a requirement if the wind speed gets to be a certain point that they'll shut the patio down so that that smoke won't infiltrate out. So anyway, like I said, I hope you don't vote for this because I don't think it's a healthy thing, but I understand the businesses, request and their need or want for this, but I don't think it's necessary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is that all?
The next speaker is Yvonne Valenzuela.
Okay.
Councilman, thank you for letting me speak. I enjoy having these young people. Healthy lungs is very important when you're young and also when you're older and middle age and coming out of COVID. I know a lot of people suffered with COVID lungs, so this really hit me when I heard this, and it was to my surprise. I went to City Council, and I was not aware of public forum that happened in July. Otherwise, I would have been there. I understand that a lot of people like me who love to breathe nice, healthy air, and we understand that being around secondhand smoke can be just as more dangerous to the person like me versus somebody smoking. And that's a proven evidence already that's out there with evidence-based studies. So I don't know whether you looked into this further, the evidence-based studies. I know that when I went to the council meeting, Chris Judge had mentioned that Scottsdale had done this already. That was my understanding. But being surprised, we're not Scottsdale. We are quaint, we are family orientated, and we have young people and children who we need to give an example to. So in regard to this, I like to say the smoking lounge is right away a red flag because it requires you to be 21 years old to go in. This is a family, so if children, teenagers, and young adults see this, I mean, what kind of example? I mean, we're about not putting people in predicament to have addictive behaviors. I mean, we are in a society right now, we are going through physiological, psychological, addictive behaviors. So this is something that we really need to look at as well. As far as ventilation, I mean, how can you really control cigarette smoke? Not cigarette smoke, but cigar smoke, which is not filtered, which is much more harmer than cigarette smoke. And also too, I think this adds a portal to opening to other things, smoking lounges, because I know we have hookahs and vape shops, and I mean, I think that will just open up the portal to other things we do not want as well. Like I said, how can you actually control smoke? I mean, I heard from this gentleman that they're going to have ventilators, and these ventilators are going to be able to suck up, but really, can you really stop cigar smoke? I don't know what considerations you could look at. I wish you would consider more studies into this. Looking at other places that have done it. So for me, I would like to see more studies, more reconsideration, possibly letting the public maybe have another chance to decide whether they want this or not. I know you're planning to put this in the Asante area, which is a new area, which we have a lot of families right at the present growing out there versus.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a lot, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, is that,
I don't have anybody else registered, Mayor.
okay. I'm going to close the public meeting. Councilman Remley?
Thank you, Mayor. I came to council tonight thinking I was not going to speak hardly at all. Here I am going again. First of all, it wasn't clear to me, why are we changing our existing ordinance? Why are we making changes to the existing ordinance? What is the reason?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This was a request from an applicant that we received.
No, why are we making the changes?
The applicant that is requesting the changes is looking to have an outdoor patio with their smoking lounge.
Well, don't we already provide for smoking outside on the patio? This
No.
already provides for that, so why are we making the changes?
So with a smoking lounge specifically, in our current code, as you'll see here in subsection
Well, it's
E,
a smoking lounge and doesn't serve alcohol or something. Is that what it was?
correct. So
Because the current one required that they have a liquor license. Is
So-
that correct?
So currently, a smoking lounge that does not serve alcohol, that just exists indoors under our current requirements and the current LDO, they have to be confined within inside.
Okay.
They can't have outdoor smoking associated with the smoking lounge.
Okay, so now any kind of establishment can have an outdoor patio where you can smoke. Is that right?
No, so under state statute, there are certain types of businesses that could have outdoor patios, so bars, restaurants, hotels. Under our code, for smoking lounges specifically, they're restricted to indoor.
Oh, so we're just expanding it to include smoking lounges, not just bars or restaurants,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Okay. The second question, in one slide, it says that we're in compliance with this state law. Could you flick back to that one? The Smoke Free Arizona Act? Okay. That's the one. I'm familiar with reading the IRS code. It's starting to look like that, referencing this and that and the other thing, and you go, well, I don't know what that is, but maybe by the time you get done, you don't know what you understood. Earlier on, there's a slide that says that the Planning and Zoning Commission requested that you do some more research before they'd look at it, right?
So-
And then later on, you say they approved it. So did they look at it?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and council member.
Did
So,
you guys come back to the planning and zoning a second time with the new stuff?
so the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval of this, but that they did also ask us to come back with some additional information to help
So the
clarify.
second time you came back, you had the information?
No, we have not yet gone back to
Then
that.
why are you bringing it to us if they've asked you to bring more information to them? Because those are important things. They're going to be part of a law. And if we don't know what it is and we're going to vote on something we don't know, that's a pig in a poke sack. Pig in a poke sack. That's where I come from. Don't bring something to me that isn't complete and say, oh, vote on it, and we'll just figure out what the law is later, and then you can be responsible for it, Mr. Councilman. I don't think so. Okay? The third thing is, the law says 20 feet, right? 20 feet from a doorway.
Correct.
This says 50 feet. Why? If it was good enough for them, why isn't it good enough for us? So it's a pig in a poke sack to me, okay?
That has to do with loitering, right, Trevor?
Correct.
50 feet. And will you go back to the Planning and Zoning Commission with they have to present a plan to you guys for smoke mitigation, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll take it back and allay the anxieties of the Planning and Zoning Commission with that plan, right? Is that the
Mayor.
plan?
And then
Mayor
you're
and
gonna bring
council,
the plan
yes,
back
that
to
is
us?
correct.
No, we've already
Yeah,
voted.
that's the
And-
plan.
And through the process of P&Z, when we had these discussions, the applicant explained everything. P&Z was good with their explanation and then made their recommendation. And then as a follow-up item at the end of the meeting, they asked us to bring back the development standards for that smoke mitigation plan. So that's what we're doing. We're doing our research now so we can bring that back.
Yeah.
Everything we've had today, as well as working with the applicant, it's primarily a huge ventilation system that sucks the smoke up.
Yeah.
And then there's other mitigation factors such as the curtains, screening, the wall heights. Those are all mitigation factors to look at.
Right.
So those are everything we'll bring back in our standards, and we'll review their plan when they submit for it.
And you'll go back to P&Z and say, here's what it is, and show
Yes,
them
sir.
what's gonna- yeah,
That is correct.
Okay. Councilman Judd?
Thank you, Mayor. So I wanted to see if we could address a couple of the questions that our speakers had asked. I don't know if the applicant wants to come up and answer. It's going to be about the smoke mitigation plan. And so one of our residents had asked about secondhand smoke and more specifically, how can you control the smoke? So I'd like to hear about that. And then also Susan had asked about wind and if we have high winds and it overwhelms, could that overwhelm the filter system and how does that work out? So if you can answer those two questions, I'd appreciate it.
Sure thing. First of all, Mayor Hall, Councilman Judd, members of the council, I'm Tom Galvin with Rose Law Group on behalf here of Mitchell Fox and
Welcome.
Folk Cigar, 7144 East Scottsdale. We do have a presentation. I'm not sure if you want to hear it tonight because we're happy to get into it and to answer your questions. But the applicant himself is here and Mayor Hall and Councilman Judd can directly answer that question, but we can probably
I
answer.
think that would be good. That would be good for you to make.
So I'm Mitchell Fox, Fox Cigar. First, smoke dissipates after 8 feet, about 8 feet. So it does go away. We suck up, so on the patio, the exhaust systems will actually suck the smoke upwards, which smoke naturally rises anyway. It then goes through charcoal filtration. That kind of purifies and takes out the smell. And then it's just exhausted out as normal air. I mean, it's a pretty simple process. Also, to kind of address the distancing and everything else that you kind of mentioned, we're 100 foot away from anybody in any open doors. So whether it's 20 foot or 50 foot, it's not an issue. I mean, there's no one that this could possibly be a nuisance to at all. As far as secondhand smoke. You know, it's an adult choice to smoke a cigar. You have to be 21 years or older to come into the bar. I mean, that's not really, I think, our job to kind of, regulate that. It's just, it's part of what we're allowed to do. We're allowed to have a cigar as an adult thing, to do. So, as they say, everything within reason. Is there any way to get rid of secondhand smoke completely? No, but at the same token, we have 100% fresh airflow in our bars. We circulate the air 14 times an hour, and it's purified in the building. So when you're sitting in there, you're probably breathing in cleaner air with the cigar smoke in the air. And if you've been to any of my bars, everyone, can attest to that has been there. I mean, it's pretty darn clean as far as the air filtration. You feel the exhaust going up, you see the smoke rising. It gets filtered through charcoal systems, which are inside and outside, and that purifies the smoke. So this is an engineered system. Every 750 square foot of area, we have a unit that regulates that amount of space. We size these things out. It's not random. It's not just stuff we just, let's put a fan here and blow the air this direction or that direction. This is a thought out process. My bar's in Scottsdale. Scottsdale's been there 10 years. We've never had a complaint from Smoke Free Arizona. They've been out. They've seen our space. Every time you build these out, they come out. They give you a certificate that says you're good to go. Same thing, Gilbert. That was my original cigar bar. 14 years, never had a single complaint or a single issue out there. Everyone loves it. People on planning and zoning, when we spoke to them, they said they were non-smokers. They still came out to the bars, investigated. They said the same thing. They went to neighbors. They couldn't get any complaints. So it kind of speaks for itself. It's, we're a very clean business. I don't want to be a nuisance to anybody. I just want our rights to be able to, have a cigar as an adult thing to be able to do within the laws.
Yes. Is that,
And you said there was a presentation?
Yes, sir. Is this all right if we go through with that?
Let's go
And we'll
through
be
it.
brief. So I'm glad Mitchell's up here with me. So Mayor and council members, there's two things that are at stake here in terms of this conversation. One is an issue of fairness for the applicant, but two is also an issue about economic development for the city of Surprise and for District 6. So you can see here that in our application, we match the standards found in state legislation, and you heard discussion earlier tonight from staff. And I want to express our appreciation for all the work that staff has done with us over the last few months. It's been absolutely integral for where we are come to tonight. Two, we're matching the standards applied to similar uses, which is bars. And three, we want to take advantage of Arizona's famous climate. With respect to the people who provided public comment earlier tonight, this is not an issue about whether or not to approve smoking lounges. You have already done that. Surprise has already done that. This is an issue regarding outdoor patios at smoking lounges. So as you've heard earlier tonight, but I really want to get into is Smoke Free Arizona Act. This is a law under state law. And so if you look here, outdoor patios, so long as tobacco smoke does not enter areas where smoking is prohibited through entrances, windows, ventilation systems, and other means. And if there's anyone who knows that better in this room, there's no one better who knows that than the gentleman standing right next to me, because he's been doing this for the last 14 years. And the smoke mitigation plan, let's go over that in detail, because this is the most important and key distinction of our presentation. So number one, airflow and ventilation design. This is custom high efficiency HVAC system for indoor and outdoor areas. Outdoor patios equipped with smoke capture systems. Number two, filtration systems, indoor and outdoor. HEPA filters for fine particulate capture, carbon filters to neutralize smoke odors, exhaust systems to ensure only clean filtered air is released. Outdoor smoke management. Smoke is sucked upwards through filtration units on patios. The clean air is expelled away from the community and the patrons, which directly addresses the questions we've heard earlier tonight from the council and from public comment. Employee training and procedures. This is very important. Staff is trained on ventilation and filtration system usage, regular maintenance and air quality monitoring, and Fox Cigar has the best staff equipped, the most knowledgeable staff on this issue. And finally, additional mitigation efforts, sealed indoor smoking areas to prevent smoke leakage and odor control through ionizers and fresh air intakes. As you can see, this is carefully thought out and planned out. This is aligning ordinance with similar uses. And you want to see here, restaurants, bars, hotels, you may smoke on their outdoor patios. And finally, I want to show you these two beautiful facilities that Mr. Fox has already been operating. In Scottsdale, their smoking ordinance permits smoking in public areas that are associated with the sale of tobacco products. And in Gilbert, town code permits smoking on outdoor patios as long as smoke does not migrate to prohibited areas. And he's been operating in Gilbert without incident for 14 years. He's been operating in Scottsdale without incident for 10 years. And so
you got some pretty close neighbors there.
Yes, but the patio is right in the middle, so we stay the distance. And with the ventilation system that's up there, there's an overhang that's attached to the ventilation. It's not an issue.
And the uniqueness about this surprise location, it will be 100 feet away from any other location. And I just want to point back to staff's presentation because they make 3 great points here. 1, you will require a smoke mitigation plan. 2, you have added enforcement language. And 3, this is clarification for outdoor patio regulations. And we really appreciate you and your time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
That's helpful, don't you think, Councilman Remley?
What's that?
Is that helpful?
so do I still have the floor or is it?
Oh, yeah,
Mayor.
I'm sorry. Councilman Judd still got the floor.
You're the chair.
Okay. I do have a response to you.
And so, Mitchell, you employ a few people too. How many people do you expect to employ at this location?
So we will have probably 15 new employees at this location alone.
How many?
15.
15 new employees.
Yeah,
And
currently we have 55 employees between my stores and my mail order business.
okay, and I went and toured it. Grabbed a friend of mine, went over there and toured it, and it was as you say. I was amazed at how many people were in there with cigars and how well the smoke dissipated. And in talking to some of your employees, you pay your employees pretty well. You've got very low turnover rate.
Yeah, everyone makes a very good living. My employees, no one leaves voluntarily. That's for sure.
And so, I mean, this is the kind of
I
thing
think that's a good thing.
surprise.
I take a lot of pride in that.
And that's
so
and
my
that's
employees
great.
are
So
like
you're
family. Yeah.
good. And this is what we need this is what we expect from our small businesses and hope to get from good community partners. So I'm very thankful that you've come to Surprise, and I'm a big fan of what you're doing here, and hopefully we can get you here and have a long partnership.
I'm a hands-on owner, so I will be out here. I will be making sure that this lives up to the standards and follows the rules that I'm helping to put in place, Yeah. So I want to be part of the process to make this where it's not a nuisance for anybody. So that's, I'm excited to be coming to the city and doing this here.
Okay, Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so, something that came up tonight, one of the residents mentioned like a healthy lifestyle. And I think that's important. I also have like alternative kind of understanding of that, because I think part of a healthy lifestyle includes family-friendly entertainment. And this might not be like the family-friendly part, maybe you can't bring your kids to it. But at the same time, smoking is legal outside. And I've experienced secondhand smoke. We've all walked down, maybe the street or something, and you're next to someone smoking. I don't smoke personally, but maybe it's an inhaler or two. But and yes, smoking is proven to be bad for you. But I mean, this is something to me that seems like, I don't smoke, but like the night before my wedding, I had a celebratory cigar, and it was a cool opportunity. It was a cool experience. And we talk about all the time about how we want Surprise to be a destination, right? And how we want people to come to the city of Surprise and not leave for places like Scottsdale. Well, this is one of those very opportunities that we have to now, we're competing with places like Scottsdale. We're competing with the East Valley to get people to come here, to get people to have fun out here, to get people to spend their money out here. And, I think you guys are going above and beyond. And really, I was really impressed with the filtration. Obviously, it's not everybody's is gonna go to this place, and that's okay. But at the same time, I think it's a really unique project. I think it's a really unique place, and I'm really excited to support it. So, and I hope the rest of the council does too.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. If I could just add to that also. So this isn't just tobacco. I mean, this is a premier bourbon, scotch, and whiskey bar. We're going to have over 2,000 different spirits. This is a high-end, very nice environment. This is not just the simple thing. I mean, this is a very kind of sophisticated, fun hobby for a lot of people. And yes, it is directed at adults. And that community of people that want to get together and enjoy an adult beverage and a cigar.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. We have a lot of young adults now. I still feel crazy saying this, but we're kind of a college town too. And so we have people now in their 20s. We have people who are going to want to go to this and to experience what this looks like. Councilman Judd has spoken really highly of it. I didn't get a chance to come out there, but I'm super excited. Are they going potentially in your district, or was it Asante? Okay, yeah. So I'm more of next to his district, but so super exciting. Thanks for bringing this to Surprise, and I hope we can get this done, because I think it makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Haney.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few questions. So, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I just want to confirm. So that filtration system that you did a really good job actually explaining how it works, that's also located outside, correct?
Yes, that will be outside as well.
Okay.
Exactly. Those exhaust fans, that's what, pulls the air up and then goes through charcoal filtration. that eliminates the odor. We call it scrubbing the air.
Okay, so there's a filtration system located outside where you wouldn't find that in, for example, a restaurant that allows the patio
Where you
smoke.
currently
Yeah.
are allowing smoke to
Yeah.
happen on a patio right now, they don't have any of those requirements.
Okay.
We are way, way, way above and beyond.
Gotcha.
And we want that. I mean, I'm happy to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, the last thing I want is to be a nuisance to anyone.
Right.
Everyone has their rights. You know, people that don't smoke shouldn't have to deal with that. That's
Mm.
fine. So we're not proposing that they have to.
Okay. And my understanding is if that smokes for some reason starts going and gravitating to other businesses, that's prohibited, right? So then at
100%.
that point,
Yes.
okay. And then I know there was a mention, do we know where this is going or the proposed location?
Yeah, I bought a building on Waddell and Litchfield.
Okay.
Right in the IMAX movie theater complex that's
Okay.
there. It's a freestanding building.
Okay.
So there is no neighbor that will be next to me within 100 foot of where this patio is located, or any door ingress or egress.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. A lot of thought went into that. That's why I
Yeah.
don't go to inline spaces, and I buy my buildings so I can be freestanding.
Okay. Yeah, and I appreciate your guys' presentation and the comments made, and I appreciate the members of the public that came and spoke. And it's important for me to explain kind of what my mindset is with this, whether you smoke or not, is I am all for promoting a healthy lifestyle, but I also have reservations on the government kind of having an overreach in deciding what is a healthy lifestyle to an individual, because the argument could certainly be made that a healthy lifestyle is not promoted by fast food restaurants or is not promoted by bars. And Grant, I am not a perfect individual. Football Sunday, I have a beverage or two, and I also love food, but it's all about people making those individual decisions for themselves. I think our role here is to make sure that, because secondhand smoke is a very real thing, and my concern is if a family is walking by, they may not choose to enter your establishment, but making sure they're not being impacted. And it sounds like with this filtration system in place, with the current restrictions already in place, that does take care of that, where then now we're just empowering you as a business to go out, serve your customers, make a living, and also empowering those to make their own individual decisions about their health, which I appreciate. So thank you guys for your time. That's all the comments I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm ready to answer that question now.
Councilman Duffy.
Whenever you're.
Thank you, Mayor. If I'm trying to think where the location, I think I'm pretty sure I haven't nailed down where it is. To the north of you, there's nothing. It's just parking lot.
Correct.
To the is it just the car wash?
There's a car wash, and then there's a salon that's directly across the parking lot in another freestanding building. So, but there's nothing in the 8,000 square foot building that I own.
And then to the west, I don't think there's anything either.
There's not.
Okay, so there's really nothing.
Yeah,
I
this
know
wasn't
the-
a random thing for me to pick this building to buy. So yeah,
Okay.
it had a purpose to it. Yes.
Because I know who used to be in there. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions we got. Councilman Remley, do you want
I
a
have a
follow-up?
follow-up here for you.
Yes.
Now, I'm the one guy up here that probably qualifies as an expert about smoking. And I wouldn't advise somebody else to take it up as a permanent vocation because it does have its effects, okay? I'm also in concert with Vice Mayor, who says we get to sleep in the bed that we choose. And if that's the lifestyle we want to adopt, then we should be able to provide for that. That's part of our freedoms in this country. The concern I have, and you can call me a stickler if you want, but the concern that I have is who's going to own this place after you get done? Are they going to be matching what you're doing in your quality or your conditional use permit? Okay? And I would like something in this ordinance that says that that shall be permitted upon so-and-so and so-and-so along these mitigation things. I'd like these mitigation things to be in writing so that we have some benchmark that we look back at and says, this is what we permitted before, okay? And I should also like to have a statement in there that said, permission shall not be unreasonably withheld. And I think those are reasonable things to ask for to be included in this ordinance.
Well, isn't there, could you address that, Lloyd?
And Mayor
Could that be accommodated and you could bring this back and we could vote on it then?
No, we want to do it tonight, but go ahead, Lloyd.
Mayor, council. So today, right now, a conditional use permit, if there was no alcohol being served with the smoking lounge, is a site plan review. It would just stop at my desk and the civil engineer's desk for approval. That was done based off of council's decision to remove site plan approval from planning and zoning. I think today, the applicants, because of serving the alcohol, has to go through a conditional use permit. So you have that discretion with planning and zoning to look at it as long as they meet all the criteria. Today, what this also does is those restaurants, hotels that don't have the requirement for the ventilation now have that requirement if this was to go through. Everybody, because we're addressing the outdoor patio as well as allowing for a patio to be associated with the smoking lounge. Okay.
Right.
Again, it's your discretion. We can bring back an action that requires smoking lounges to go through a CUP so that there are more eyes on it. I'm not sure it's necessary if we put the smoke mitigation plan in play and make sure we hold everybody to it.
So to Councilman Remley's concern, if there's a new buyer, Mitch decides, I want to
That was the provision for the smoke mitigation, as well as to provide us the enforcement, as well as to leverage the state's enforcement.
Yeah.
But mitigation can be any number of things,
Yeah, but
any
I
number of degrees.
I think the
It's a gray
specific
area.
plan is in the plan, though.
It's as the applicant has outlined, that pretty much covers what's going to be required.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't find anything more stringent than what he's already proposed for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I did propose that too. That was
Yeah.
my idea to put in smoke-free Arizona. That's
So at least you understand my concern, right?
Sure.
Yes.
100%. And I think we did address that.
Yes.
And Mayor Hall and Councilman Remley, if I may, we have never fought staff on any single aspect of a smoke mitigation plan. In fact, anything that staff has asked for, we have worked with them and agreed to it. And frankly, the more stringent, the better, because the applicant here stands behind his record, 24 combined years for 2 sites without incident. And he doesn't want anyone coming in here to surprise to being a bad actor because it's going to reflect poorly on him. But the enforcement language is, frankly, it's on your side of this dais. And you come up with that language and we'll do whatever we can to meet those expectations or exceed them. Thank you.
All righty. Well, I think Councilmember Klein.
Well, thank you very much for the presentation. I really appreciate the effort that you're going into. And one of the things that I wanted to comment on is the fact that on the one hand, we want to look out for our residents' care and concern. But one of the things we did not want to do was to make getting a permit process longer than we had already made it longer. So in this particular case, based on all of the wording and things that you've already put into it, I would not want to see us send this away and make it come back again.
Right.
We're really looking to expedite our process, and we have faith in the department that does these site reviews to make sure that everything is in compliance. And so I want to thank Lloyd and his team for everything that they do. They do a great job, and I just want to see us continue to streamline the permitting process, not just the price that we were talking about earlier, but the process to make it as painless as possible whenever we can. So thank you for the time and effort that you both put into this, and thank you to Lloyd and your group for the work that you put into it as well. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 2024-29.
Second.
And moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Trevor. Okay, item number 17.
Consideration and action pertaining to an amendment to the Surprise Municipal Code by adopting Chapter 54, Article 4, Division 2, Section 54, 116 through 124 relating to towing from private property, ordinance number 2024-22.
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. While my esteemed colleague here gets the PowerPoint up for the presentation, what we're here tonight to discuss and ask for consideration is changes to our towing ordinance. This is only related to private property tows because what happened, the history of why we're here tonight is, and let me introduce Commander Christine DeSanti. She commands our agency support division, part of which has our community relations group. And that group, in their travels through the city, as you know, many of them are the ones that come to the HOA meetings and various neighborhood groups. So we found out that some folks felt that they were being treated unfairly when they inadvertently parked someplace on private property and their vehicle was towed. And what we came up with in our research that we had no systematic controls to limit what could be charged on the tow or the storage fees. And so some of these folks, oftentimes elderly, were getting charged some exorbitant fees. And so we wanted to address that. So I'll turn the presentation over to Commander DeSanti.
Okay, great.
Thanks,
Welcome.
Chief. Mayor Hall, Vice Mayor Haney, council members. Try not to baffle this too much. I'm here this evening to speak on the private property towing ordinance. Just like the chief mentioned, he's taken some of my thunder, but that's okay. This is something that we would definitely like to pursue, not only for our city, but obviously for our citizens. The purpose of the ordinance is to establish maximum fees, just like he said. The ordinance will authorize the maximum rate and charge for towing, transporting, or impounding motor vehicles from private property, and provide a process. It'll also set the regulations and protect the private property of both citizens and commercial property owners. This statute, Arizona Revised Statute 9-499.05.a, it gives the authority to cities and towns so that they can regulate the maximum rate and charges for towing, transporting, or impounding a motor vehicle from private property without the permission of the owner or operator of the vehicle by any private towing carrier doing business within its boundaries. A private towing carrier is subject to the maximum rate and charge regulation prescribed by the city or town for all such towing, transporting, or impounding services if the vehicle being towed or transported is towed from private property located within the boundaries of the city or town. So we already have the authority to be able to do this. The current issues, just as, like I said, the chief had mentioned, there are disputes that our patrol officers respond out to all the time in regards to towing issues and parking issues. Hopefully that this ordinance will help to resolve some of those complaints. Occasionally, some of these tows are of a predatory nature and result in exorbitant fees. One incident that I'm aware of is our community relations team, Officer Mark Ortega. He was reached out to by a citizen. The citizen had parked their vehicle in a private property lot. There was no sign posted whatsoever, and the vehicle was towed to the east side of Fountain Hills.
Wow.
The tow company then wanted to charge our citizen almost $3,000 to get their vehicle back. So Officer Ortega looked at that and he started digging into what other municipalities across the state have ordinances that can help protect our citizens from this predatory nature. The new ordinance signage would look similar to this. It's kind of hard to see up there, I think, but what we want in the ordinance, or what the ordinance states, is that it will be clearly posted and give notice of restrictions on parking, maximum cost to the violator, including storage fees and any other charges that would result from the disposition of the vehicle parked in violation of parking restrictions. It would also provide an accurate phone number and address of where a violator can retrieve their vehicle. We've also had some issues with these signs being outdated and inaccurate information. So it's very difficult to try to find their vehicle. Let's make sure. The new ordinance would also have mandatory notification to police of all vehicles towed. we in the police department need to know that a vehicle was towed so that when someone walks out and finds their vehicle gone, they don't call us and say someone stole it. So when that information is provided to us, our dispatch will take down as much information as they can in regards to the tow. It is unlawful for a private towing carrier to tow or transport a motor vehicle from private property without the permission of the owner or operator of the motor vehicle, unless such private towing carrier receives a request from law enforcement agency or the express written permission from the owner or the agent of the owner of the property. So any person found guilty, there's a penalty obviously for violating this ordinance for the tow companies. If they're found guilty of violating any provision of this ordinance, shall be subject to the penalty set forth in section 1.7 of the Surprise Municipal Code, except for violations of section 54-119, which shall be subject to a minimum civil fine penalty of $250 and a maximum civil fine penalty of $1,000. To sum it all up, several municipalities, to include the City of Phoenix, Tempe, Scottsdale, and Glendale, all have ordinances that govern these regulations. The proposed ordinance reflects the best practices based upon trial and error of these municipalities and feedback from other law enforcement agencies. We also took specific care was taken to ensure that the citizens of City of Surprise are protected from predatory practices while providing owners of the private parking a remedy for neglectful vehicle owners and provide them a clear avenue to rid our city of blight. That is the information I have to present. Do I have any comments or questions?
Councilman Judd.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commander, for bringing this forward. I know I heard about the Fountain Hills one quite some time back. So how will this ordinance stop someone from still doing that? Like grab someone's car and take it to Fountain Hills anyway?
Right, Councilmember Judd, at least it really doesn't prevent that from happening in totality. It does give us a tool, though, an avenue to be able to make sure that they've posted the signs correctly and that the violator, if they're parking there and there is a sign saying, hey, it's going to be towed to Fountain Hills, you're going to think that there's going to be a lot of fees associated with that.
So what if the same scenario happened again where the person had parked in a parking lot that wasn't signed and they took the car to Fountain Hills? What's going to happen then?
Then with this ordinance, we would have the civil remedies that we could fall back on. So they could be fined, the tow company that did that, they could be fined the minimum up to a maximum, and then also under the municipal code,
Would we be able
1 through 7.
Would we be able to compel them to give the vehicle back?
That all depends on the totality of the circumstances. So yes, we could look at the totality of it to see if it meets our guidelines. And yes, we would work on getting their vehicle back. They can't keep it for ransom.
Okay, and that's kind of my question on this,
Yeah.
because the penalty for it is $250 or $250 to $1,000, and if they're banking on getting $1,000 out of it, they still come out ahead.
I thought it was $450.
No, this would be, the fees, we've not been able to get those posted publicly yet, sir.
Oh.
So that's something that we'll be working on.
Oh, okay.
So we're not able to provide those fees of what we're recommending, but that's something that will get posted to the public.
So I guess the question is, this gives you the tools you need to combat something like that and help protect our residents.
Yes, I believe so. And then under our penalty set forth in section 1.7 of Surprise Municipal Code, I believe that we can also charge them with a criminal misdemeanor, a class 1 misdemeanor.
Okay, good. Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Is there a need for more tow companies in Surprise Market?
More tow companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well, I
quite
know,
a
but
few.
Why is Fountain Hills involved in towing a car in Surprise if there's...
So, yes, because we don't have an ordinance that, at least sets some guidelines on it, sets the fees, the schedule of fees associated with the towing. They will take advantage of any city that they can and any citizen, unfortunately, that they can.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about all of them. Of
Yeah.
course, we have some very good tow companies that we work with.
Okay.
But this one was an anomaly, and I'm glad that the citizen brought it to our attention.
Yeah.
So that we could look into it and try to do something to prevent that from happening again.
Vice Mayor Haney.
Council member.
Thank you, Mayor. So just so I'm understanding this, someone went all the way from Fountain Hills, got this car and drove it all the way back because they knew that they could take advantage of our resident and charge them whatever they wanted. Is that basically what happened in that situation?
That's what happened. Is the tow company was out here in Surprise for whatever reason, picked that vehicle for whatever reason. There was no signage in that lot, and took it back to their location. They did notify us, so when the person came out, we knew that the vehicle wasn't stolen. But then when the citizen went to go get it, they're like, yeah, it was like $2,000. I mean, it was just under $3,000.
Okay.
And they felt that was a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Property they could park it on.
And then one of your officers saw this as an issue and said, we need to do more.
Yeah, Community Relations Officer Mark
Grandson
Ortega.
Village.
Yes.
Hold on.
He took the call from the citizen and most definitely he felt we could do more
Okay.
and took the lead on putting this together.
Well, that's awesome, first of all. And that's just being, servant leadership right there. And I appreciate it. What concerns me is, and we've seen this now with this, we've seen this with the sober living, is there's tons of groups that continue to look at our ordinances, not just us specifically, but other municipalities, and find these loopholes. And ultimately who gets hurt is our residents. And so I appreciate your guys' efforts. I would love to reevaluate this to see if there's more we can do to protect our residents, or at least give you all the tools that you need to protect our residents even more. And I think it's worth maybe a larger discussion, maybe with Robert and his team, to review some of our ordinances to see if there's other loopholes. Because if your officer wasn't willing to bring this forth, and you guys aren't willing to bring this forth, we would still have our residents being victimized by, and that frustrates me. And it frustrates me that they had to go through this. And I'm thankful that you guys are here, but I'd love to reevaluate this whatever time you think is appropriate to see if there's additional needs you all need from us to give you the authority and the tools to combat this a little bit even further.
I appreciate that, Vice Mayor.
Yep. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay.
Good.
Very good. City Attorney Robert Wingo.
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, my office did evaluate this ad nauseum with the police department, and one of the penalties that can be assessed under this is a criminal violation misdemeanor. So if the tow originates within the corporate boundaries of Surprise and it's violated the ordinance, we have that tool as a criminal charge against the individual perpetrating the crime. So this is a valuable tool. We did put in certain civil penalties for some of the lesser things, like if a sign is not in conformance, things like that. We don't really want to at least initially, charge a criminal offense. But if there's a situation where, an unscrupulous tow truck company tows a vehicle out of Surprise, violates this ordinance, we definitely have jurisdiction to proceed criminally against them.
Great. Thanks, Robert.
Yes, we appreciate their help.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 2024-22.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay. Item number 18.
Consideration and action pertaining to repealing Rule 2E of Appendix B, Rules for the Public at Council Meetings of the City of Surprise Policy and Procedures Manual.
All right, very good. Robert, would you like to make a statement?
Sure, Mayor and Council. No presentation on this item tonight. It is fairly straightforward. The item, if approved, will repeal Rule 2E as set forth in Appendix B of the City of Surprise Policies and Procedures Manual. I would say that if legal advice is needed by this council tonight, an executive session is the appropriate forum. If not, I would ask that a motion be made and a vote be taken without delay.
Okay, very good. Do I entertain a motion?
I move to amend the City of Surprise Policies and Procedures Manual to repeal Rule 2E of Appendix B, Rules for the Public at Council Meetings pertaining to lodging charges or complaints against city employees or members of the body during city council meetings.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Okay, very good. Would anybody like to put something on a future agenda? Oh, yeah, it's called a public. I'm sorry. The call to the public, would anybody like to speak to this body on a non-agendized item?
There are no registered speakers
No?
at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Nobody wants to put anything on the future agenda? Okay, good. How about council reports? Let's start with Councilmember Klein.
Okay, I'm sitting at the wrong end of the table at this point. And let's see, can I talk really long to see how long I can keep Duffy from going home at this point? Actually, I don't have any specific items at this
Okay.
moment for this week, but I'll have some next time.
Okay, super. Councilman Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thanks to Eric for spending a good part of his Saturday with us at Total Wine for the meet and greet addressing transportation. And he pretty much took over the meeting, so it allowed me to go shopping for a little while. Okay, no, I didn't leave, but we thought about it. But I appreciate you spending the Saturday and answering all the questions that were there. And it was probably, you were probably standing up with us for a lot more than you thought or should have. So I appreciate you being there. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have two things. Number one, my community meeting is coming up this Thursday at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you guys there. I always enjoy these. It's at Asante Library. We'll have staff there give important updates and just hear from you and be able to have those conversations. So it's one of my favorite parts of this job, and so I look forward to seeing you there. And lastly, recently I was informed that two members of District 1 unfortunately passed away. Both of these individuals were just really great people who were committed to making the area around them better. They challenged me as a leader, and I feel like they made me better. And our thoughts and our prayers are with their family while they go through this very difficult time. One of the best parts of this job is getting to know so many people that I didn't know 2 years ago, and we really kind of become almost like a little family. And so my heart's heavy as they go through this process, and we as a city and a lot of staff has interacted with them. We stand ready to support them as they move through this challenging time. But I just wanted to give them and their family, let them know that we're thinking about them tonight. That's all I have, Mayor.
All righty, Councilman Judd.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo Councilman Duffy's sentiment. Eric, we appreciate you coming out to that meeting. You answered a lot of great questions, and you provided a nice human shield for a certain part of the event. I'm having my community meeting tomorrow night. It'll be my fourth one this month, so it's been a good month. Been a lot of great questions, and it'll be at Tap House at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Hope to see some people there. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Hastings.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Remley.
Thank you, Mayor. Approximately 8 years ago today, there was a meeting, ribbon cutting, if you will, over at the Old City Hall. The event was the acknowledgement receipt of a grant from Clint Hickman and a joint grant from the county to establish a resource center for Surprise and for El Mirage. I think some of us were there for that. And at the time we said, well, you know, this is kind of nice getting something started and everything. Well, that resource center has really grown to where it provides almost anything that happens to you, you can walk in there and you can get some help. The other day I was sitting at my, just finished breakfast, and the phone rang, and beautician that I did taxes for called me, and Marisol says, Ken, my daughter-in-law's house just burned down. She's there with her kids, has no place to go. I said, can you help? I said, sure, call the resource center. And she did. And that's all taken care of, thank you. She's got a roof over her head.
Good job, Seth.
Good job.
All right. As the temperatures begin to drop, we're excited to kick off our event season. So save the date for Surprise Fiesta Grande on Saturday, October 5th. Enjoy the unique culture and community that are a foundation of the city's past, present, and future. More exciting events throughout the season are to come. I'll see you there. That's it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Then moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
Would you consider swimming in water containing pet waste, oil, pesticides, or trash? If you've ever tried to cool down in a